For the hardcore Japanese learner, the JLPT isn't the only way to show off your mad skills. For the daring of heart, there is a much more difficult path. So difficult indeed that only 80% of native speakers pass the lowest 3 levels. Up to the challenge? This is the Kanji Kentei. This video is brought to you by our wonderful Patreon subscribers, and I thank you kindly for your support. So you've studied for years and you're finally at the JLPT level that you want to be at, but the mountaintop feeling is fleeting. And much like bad in-laws and holidays, they only come around once, maybe twice a year if you're unlucky. What is a Japanese learner to do in the meantime? Well, we, my Japanese bookworm brethren, like to emotionally cut ourselves with native level tests. And the longest, deepest cut of them all is the Kanji Kentei. Not related to the Kunta Kinte, but equally as unpleasant. For any curious eyes out there, the Kanji Kentei test is entirely in Japanese. There's no English support, because it was meant for native speakers. So it's sink or swim. But if you're willing to wade through all the rules and regulations in Japanese, then I assume you're probably good enough to take this test, so let's see if I can keep that vigor for the rest of the video. The test has a total of 10 levels with 2 kind of pre-levels for the 2 hardest tiers. The difficulty ranges from 10 being the easiest to 1 being the hardest, similar to the JLPT of 5 being the easiest, 1 being the hardest. And given that early stat I gave you guys, the 10 through 7, 80% pass rate, taking the 7, which is the hardest of all the tiers, it has a native speaker pass rate of about 80%. Now I hear you guys is chattering, hey Chad, aren't adult Japanese people supposed to know around 2,000 kanji? Well, maybe if you're like a Japanese person who got your degree in Japanese, the average person you'll meet on the street probably only knows about 1,000. Even so, this level has about 600, nearly half of that 1,000 that the statistics are said that adults should know. Frankly, the 1,000 that elementary kids should know. And yet, only 80% pass, which means 20% don't. Now, this doesn't speak to how uninformed adults are so much as it does to how tough this test is. In fact, Tier 1, the hardest tier that there is in this test, only 15% of those who apply pass. Needless to say, it's a tough test. Now throw onto that a passing score from level 7 to pre-level 2 is 70%, and all the other tiers need 80% to pass. This is even looking tougher than the JLPT's 50%. Need I say more? And I know that this will probably separate my viewers into 2 demographics. One that says, oh my gosh, why would anyone take this test? And the other going, give me, give me, give me. If you're in that latter section, you are a son or daughter after my own heart, and I appreciate it. As such, I will be attempting this test in 2019 myself, especially since it has expanded across the world. North America has several sites, as well as Canada, Europe, Australia, and I think some other parts of Asia. Now, to the unacquainted with the language, you might be saying, what's so difficult about a kanji test? Well, beyond just testing your ability to read and write a kanji, you have to be able to understand its meaning in a variety of situations and be able to use it properly within the context of various different sentences. On top of that, you have to know all of the onyomi and kunyomi, the various readings, and many of these kanjis have multiple, on top of correct stroke order and being able to identify if one stroke is off. Yeah, there's a reason it's only an 80% native pass rate. Basically, you need to be fluent in kanji, and by that I mean the actual use of the word as in fluid in the language. You have to be able to move through sentences smoothly and easily and understand the subtle complexities of it, otherwise you're freaking toast. I know I make it sound terrible, but one of the benefits of this test is there is a ridiculous amount of DS and other various platform games that you can use to study for this test, and they all ship internationally to America for relatively cheap. In fact, I bought a few of them myself, and I will be reviewing them a hop, skip, and a jump from today. In an attempt to have you guys not run away from this test, I will bring up a couple of nice things about it. In comparison to the JLPT, it is relatively short, at between 40 minutes to an hour. The JLPT can run anywhere from 2 to 4 hours with breaks in between. It is also relatively inexpensive compared to the JLPT, as the lowest levels cost only $15 US, with the highest tier only costing $50 US. Along those lines, it also occurs more frequently than the JLPT, happening 3 times a year, as opposed to the JLPT's 1 to 2, depending on the country that you are in. Just remember, guys, it's not about passing, it is about bettering yourself. It is about taking on a challenge of something that you know you can't do in an attempt to study so hard for it that even if you don't pass, you've become a better version of yourself in the process. So that's just my opinion. Are you guys likely to take this test? Are there any other tests you want me to talk about or explain? Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys like this video, be sure to like it down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or compliments, please leave them in the comment box down below. I do read all of them. Did you like this video? Check out my repertoire of 200 plus Japanese videos. After that wormhole of madness and Japanese. If this channel interests you, I would highly suggest subscribing. Helps the community grow, and I put out weekly videos every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday on a variety of channels. Drop by for the Saturday live stream, stay tuned for the Tuesday, Thursday Wicked Miscreant podcast, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Like Zoink Scoob!